Welcome to the home open houses weekend. Welcome to your new next home at the open houses of the weekend, Mike.
Yeah,
C'est la semaine de la relâche. Maybe that's why I'm a tad.
yeah, it's spring break.
You know, I don't like vacation. You know that. I like to be busy. I like to move and
Yeah,
shake and roll. And today we're going to present to you some open houses that are going on this weekend. There's 506 across the island of Montreal.
quite a bit.
It's just pretty close to the same as last week. You see the energy in the market, but some things are slowing things down. We're going to talk about that. So today we're going to look at the how the tariffs are affecting the trade war is affecting real estate, especially here in Montreal. But we're going to talk about Vancouver and Toronto. And we're going to talk about the new construction slowdown in the greater Montreal, because that's also playing into it. We also want to introduce some technology to real estate where if you have properties and you're doing management, there's some great tools out there that use AI to do the property management. So we're going to explore that. So those are the three things we want to do. If you don't know who I am, I'm the owner of three real estate agencies here in the greater Montreal area. To my right is our business development director, Mike Francois. We're going to go and start off also by, let's go into the tariff war, Mike.
Yeah, yeah.
One day it's on, one day
It's entertaining,
not.
isn't it?
It's, I don't know if I would call it entertaining. It's playing with everybody's nerves. It's very unpredictable. And when we talk about unpredictability, well, then it has a negative impact on real estate. If I may start with, I want to show you and talk about Toronto home sales for the month of February. So if you've been watching the show, January was an exceptional month in real estate. We were almost 50% more transaction year over year.
Yeah.
And now when we talk about February and all of what's going on with the trade war, you feel it. So Toronto sales dropped by almost 30% in February, year over year.
Yeah.
Vancouver at 12%, almost 11.7% year over year. So it does have an effect. Now I have to say that for the Montreal area, I looked at the numbers yesterday for February, we're still up 3%. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
It hasn't slowed down, but it also hasn't been that great, because when we compare 2025 February with last year, in theory, we were forecasting that February of this year should have been much better than just an increase of 3%. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, also the lack of inventory also played a great role in that. I mean, compared to the rest of Canada, I mean, we're all lacking inventory all across the board, but Quebec specifically. And because of that, if you're in the proximity of the greater Montreal area, chances are that the prices will remain pretty much the same. And they have been for several years for now, ever since the pandemic. We've seen a spike, and everything's been growing steadily ever since then.
We didn't talk about price increase or volume increase, but all these well, not all, but in Montreal, as an example, the volume was up by 7% year over year for February, which So we're talking, I like to look at the number of transaction and talk about number of transactions. It's a better, I believe, a better indicator of the activity level of the market and how the tariffs are affecting.
So there's a huge thing that's happening with the tariffs, because as you know, everything is speculative. People always say, whenever it is that you hear news, it has an effect psychologically. And we can see that happen on the markets. You look at the stock market that took a hit for the last few days, just because of this whole tariff situation and how it can affect you short term and long term. And then we've noticed that he decided to put the tariffs together as of March 4th on 25% on all Canadian goods. Now, right now, in the span of 48 hours, everything switched over. Now we're moving into April 2nd. So that in itself does have an effect on people, makes people a little bit more reluctant in wanting to make a power move like purchasing or selling a home, knowing that in most cases it's someone's biggest investment. So, it's a critical situation. And that's why, if you're not aware or you don't know about the market or you're uncertain about the market, we urge you strongly to get in touch with us. Take a consultation. We'll sit down, we'll talk to you, we'll answer questions. We'll be more than happy to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, and if you're considering, I should say, buying because you're getting married or you're having kids or you want to move in with someone you care about, or for whatever the reason is, it's not by waiting, especially not in the greater Montreal area,
Yeah.
that prices are going to be reduced or more affordable. Prices are not going down. For the last 24 years, 25 years, if you look, and we can send you this information if you're interested, but go to the CMHC website, look at the trends over the last 25 years. When you look at the price increase, it's only been going up for 25 straight years. Now, that's why it's so important. And as I said, I like to look at the number of transactions. That's where you see there's a bit of a slowdown, but the prices are still not going down. They will, and they will not for the next few years. Why? Mike said it very clearly. I'm going to repeat in my own words. There's a lack of inventory. There's more population than there is property. So we're okay in the sense of prices not dropping, but don't wait, because every year you wait, you pay a bit more for the same type of property for the same property value. So
another thing, not to interrupt, another thing I'll notice also is I've gotten a lot of calls where people will have promised to purchase conditional to selling their home.
That's true.
They do it a lot because they're afraid that if they sell their home, they become homeless because they can't find anything that they particularly like. So you're going to notice a very big increase pertaining to that, where people are a little bit more reluctant to get rid of their houses. So that would explain the decrease in transactions, because people are like, you know what can I get that's better than I already have right now? So this is where the question comes into play.
So in the end, based on what your situation is, best thing to do is to consult with someone you trust, a real estate broker, a real estate agency, just like us, to see and talk about, well, what are your fears? What are your plans? What is the end goal? And let us help you with different options as to consider this, consider that. We have, I remind you, is 506 open houses. That's a great way of getting a good pulse on different areas, what you get, what type of property you get for what. Without obligation, you go visit, you go see. I think that's the best way of starting the process. And so DM us, send us a message, tell us what area, or just say Montreal, and we'll send you the 506 directly to your inbox. Segment number 2, we wanted to talk about how is that affecting new construction and what's going on there. But before we go there, I want to see with our technician Matteo here if we've got a hold of our friend. We wanted to go live with so we'll wait a few more minutes. Maybe we'll go back to that a bit later. So talking about, Mike, new construction slowdown, obviously with all these talks of increase on goods of construction material or whatever it is, that has a main effect, a deep effect on
huge effect. So you're talking about steel, you're talking about wood, you're talking about all this kind of stuff. And I mean, construction material, they trade from south of the border to north of the border of these things, and this will have a great effect actually on the cost of them having to build homes or build towers or even build condo units. So what's going to happen then is that a lot of these projects may come to a halt, where they're going to say, you know what, we're putting this on hold because our cost is going to be too high. We may not be able to sell them on time, just so that there could be a certain stability in that area.
So maybe instead of going towards the new construction, looking at resale and the value that you get right now, because there's still going to be scenarios of people that need to sell, or for whatever reason. Sometimes it's negative, but sometimes it's also positive. You have more people that you have in your family, you have more babies. I have a lot of kids, so it's a position that forced me a few times to move, because I needed to accommodate my changing family situation, divorces, separations, change of job, schools. So all of that, we have to take that into consideration. So there's never a point, Mike, where you have no houses to choose from when we talk about resale. So it might be also a way to get just more home for the same dollar. We spoke about that last week. You want to talk a bit about more?
Exactly. So you want to get more for your dollar. You want to be able, that's why we say get in early. Listen, we're moving into the season right now. We know that March, historically, March, April, May, as we approach July, starts to get busier and busier. Now, we are expecting to know next week if whether or not there's going to be another rate cut. So that also can have an effect. Now, we don't know this. They talked about maybe keeping it stable, to avoid having inflation rise again. But now maybe they might go with more aggressive reports, like you mentioned in the French version, to see what's going to happen then. So it remains to be seen. We'll probably talk about it next week when we get there. But what I can say is that the increased pressure that the U.S. is giving to the developers and the builders is putting them a little bit, questioning of whether or not they're moving forward with their project. So this is pretty much where we're at right now.
And when we talk about new construction, if we're talking about big projects,
Yeah.
They don't build them that fast.
Overnight, yeah.
So it needs to the consideration has to be, well, what's going to happen in 2 years from now? Where are we going to be in 2 years? So that's really hard to do when you have this kind of trade war and these conversations with. Like we see right now with
and it's
with the
it's
government.
affecting everyone. It's affecting the world. As a matter of fact, I mean, even if you go to Europe, the markets over there too plummet just because of that, because of anticipating that something may happen in the near future.
So let's change gears here and let's go see our friend Michael Gorbani, one of our brokers, one of our top brokers here at Mellor Group. What he's going to do, Mike, he's been doing that, but this year he's going to be at the Salon de l'Habitation de Montréal.
Yeah.
Dates from the 13th to the 16th of March. He has a kiosk, and not a small one, a big kiosk where he'll be answering questions and getting to present himself and his team with the potential home buyers, sellers, investors, or just people in general that want to know what's going on with the market. We have him here live. You can see him. Michael, how's it going?
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing
Great.
We're doing great. So this is the second time you have a kiosk, if I'm not mistaken. You want to tell us what's going to be different this year from what you've learned last year and the previous years, maybe?
Yeah. It's the second year. I'm there for, I guess, the only agent, our office from Royal LePage. We have a very nice setup this year. It's a large booth, very nice at the beginning of the salon of the show, and it's a major show, major event. We have about 30,000 people coming over the 4 days, and a lot happening there. For this year, we're gonna have a draw and prizes, really nice prizes for people who are coming to see us. And you can actually text me or send me an email, and we can give you free passes. We have lots of free passes for the show. You can come to the show and also pass by a booth. It's booth number 900. And as I said, we're going to have a nice draw. I have about 13 different gifts for you that we'll do the draw on Sunday. We'll have a live event and a live draw for prizes. It's going to be really nice. Yeah.
So if we hear you correctly, Michael, you're giving away tickets. These tickets have a face value usually of around $17 plus taxes.
Yeah.
And we have some here to give away also because of Michael. So if you want, you DM us, you say Michael, and we'll send you the tickets on behalf of Michael here. Now, what kind of booth, what kind of companies, what are the things that you see at the Salon d'Habitation that could be interesting? It's not just for buying or selling or any of the things that we talk about. It's a bit what can we find?
Yeah, a lot of different things, construction companies, different companies, let's say for if you need a new roof, if you need a new deck, a lot of different, even I saw like for foundation cracks, foundation work, lots of different companies, and even various different ones that you
So this could be good for anybody that owns a property, anybody that wants to start or be an owner eventually, wants to find out what to do. So this is a great initiative on your behalf, Michael. We wish you nothing but the success. What we're going to do too, which is fun, is next Wednesday, we're going to stream live, and you're going to show us your kiosk directly from the Salon de l'Habitation, le Palais des Congrès.
Michael, I just have one more question. For somebody that's interested in going to the Salon de l'Habitation, how long do you think it would take to do the whole visit, roughly? Should someone plan ahead of time, a whole day or half a day or a couple of hours?
Good question.
Yeah, it depends on your schedule, but if you want to go around, it's you have many companies there, and it's really nice and entertaining. It would probably take a few hours, let's say 2-3 hours minimum. That's why at my booth I always have coffee, I have chairs, I have chocolate, so they can come, sit down, have a talk, and then continue your walk.
And from my experience, Mike, sorry to say, I think it's great. These kinds of events are always fun because you can get to win all kinds of prizes. You said, Michael, you're going to be giving away some prizes. I know what they are, and they're pretty exciting prizes. But every vendor, or a lot of the vendors, offer similar kind of prizes just for showing up, giving your information. And so I think it's worthwhile just for the possibility of getting some prizes for a nice afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. And the prices are really nice. It was on my, wish list. I have a massage gun. I have yoga mats, Lululemon yoga mats. I have really
Nice.
fun stuff. Yeah, wireless chargers, fun stuff that you can use. Uh, and yeah, yeah.
Maybe what we could do, we could add a lunch with Mike. Maybe some people would love to win that lunch with Mike.
I have a
For
question.
sure.
Something else I wanted to ask you. I know that last year when you did it, you had several other people that were there with you. It was kind of like a one-stop shop where you would have maybe a mortgage broker or somebody there that can give consultation. Sometimes, in our audience, there's a lot of people that may want to come there and say, well, I don't even know how much I can afford. Like, is it really worth it for me to do that? Do you still have access to these people at your booth this year?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I've invited a few people, let's say mortgage brokers. They'll be there. The timing, I'm not sure exactly when, but they would be there. Yeah, for sure. For sure, we can do that. And for sure, once I start a conversation with a client, then I can know exactly what they need. Depending on their need, I'll refer them to the proper, mortgage broker, either from the bank or a mortgage broker, depending on their needs and what they want exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you now, you being a broker as busy as you are, now you've heard, of course, about the tariffs and everything. Has that affected you in any type of way? Have you gotten certain questions from people where they're feeling uncertain moving forward just because of what just happened?
You know what I felt is at the beginning of the talks there was uncertainty, and then I saw a slowdown. Buyers who were hesitant a bit, but I think we got used to it, and also the fact that the interest rates are dropping. I predict a very hot market for the summer because interest rates next week we have the next announcement. In I think it will central bank will drop it to 2.5, so our mortgage rates will be around like 3.75, 3.5, and it's going to be great because it's the lowest in a few years. And to me, even putting whenever, let's say putting tariffs, putting pressure on the economy, real estate market always picks up. I studied, my major is economics, so I studied this a lot. But I think we're going to see a very, very good market this year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the numbers earlier. I don't know if you had a chance to see, but we spoke about Vancouver, their month of February year over year being down by about 12%, and Toronto being down quite a bit more substantially by 25, 28%, almost 30%. But here in Montreal, we were saying that we had an actual increased number of transaction year over year from February by 3%, which is not huge, but it's still a good sign, and it's very optimistic for anybody in the greater Montreal area. So thank you very much. Good luck at the
I
Salon d'Habitation.
Yes, I
Yeah.
myself just signed two accepted offers within the next past 48 hours, and these were homes, waterfront homes over a million. It was really nice transaction.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
Congratulations.
you,
And while I
thank
have
you.
you here, because we're talking about open houses this coming weekend, are you doing any open houses this weekend?
Not for this week. I'm gonna focus. I have one event this weekend and the home buyer show that I have to set up as of Tuesday.
The
But
the event of the weekend, you want to talk about it briefly, quickly?
that's more a community event. It's DDAR with IBNG, Iranian Business Network Group, and it's 2 day show. It's really nice. We have wine, cheese. It's in the actually Griffintown. It's a very nice event. If you go on my Micro Realty Instagram page, you will see the detail. Um, it's sold out, but if anybody wants to come in, I still have on my VIP list. I have room, yeah, for people, and I'll do a seminar from 12 to 2 on Saturday, just for we have a notary, we have a mortgage broker, we have even a guy from a construction company. We'll do a seminar on for people who are interested in purchasing or selling properties. Yeah, from 12 to 2.
Great. Well, that sounds like an exciting weekend, an exciting few weeks for you
It
upcoming.
is.
Better get your rest, and
Yes.
we'll touch base again with you on Wednesday. We'll do a live stream from Michael's kiosk at the Salon
Yep.
d'Habitation Le Palais des Congrès. Thank you very much. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
Have a
Now
good.
let's go into the world of technology. Now I love this aspect of the business. I'm a big user of artificial intelligence when
Yeah.
it comes to helping with efficiency in my business. Let's talk about that when it comes to I own properties management side. What can AI do for us today?
Yeah, so there's a company based out in California actually that uses AI to predict maintenance issues, automate property management, and even rent guarantees for investors. So it analyzes over 40 different points in their systems and helps the landlords optimize their investment while reducing the stress. So right now, they're expanding in a phenomenal way. They've been doing great. We can see how AI is slowly integrating
Slowly.
themselves. Well, pretty
I don't
quick.
know if I would say I would use the word
Well,
slowly.
the
It's
reason
just-
why I say this is because in the States it's already there, but here in Canada we can notice that we're always a little bit behind. So I think that maybe in the next coming months or maybe in the next year we're going to see more of it. So I would say pay attention to that and see how that can actually help you, help your clients, or even help you as a customer if you want to buy property, knowing if that's the right property for you by putting in certain data inside and see if whether or not it's worth it.
So if you're managing properties and you want to find ways to be more efficient with that whole process, or you want to scale, please reach out to us, send us a DM, say, I'm interested in learning more about efficiency or artificial intelligence, and we'll set something up where we can share what we're doing and how we use AI in our own business to help us with all kinds of tasks and things to do. I want to repeat that we have 506 open houses this upcoming weekend. Every Friday we present to you these open houses coming up. And if you're interested in a different area, maybe you're not in Montreal, you're in Quebec City, or you're in Saguenay, or wherever you are across the province of Quebec, and you want lists of available properties that are for sale or open for open houses of the weekend, we can send you that with no obligation whatsoever. Right, Mike?
Exactly. So, and on our takeaway, I'll just say this. I know that everybody is kind of stressed with the up and down, the in and outs of these tariffs, one day they're on, one day they're off. But at the end of the day, what we did know just is that here in Quebec, we're pretty stable, which means that waiting will not make the situation better. Just like people who wanted to wait till after the pandemic or all that, at the end of the day, you saw the prices still remain about the same or even more expensive. So don't wait. You need information. We're here to give it to you. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can send us a DM, send us an email, do a phone call, whatever it is. Come to the office, and we'll be more than happy to help you and set you up in the right direction.
Perfect. So with that, we wish you a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday or Wednesday with new listings of the week.
Have a great weekend.